back when quarantine started, like back at the beginning of 2020, my mom and my sister were going down to North Carolina to stay with my aunt, and I said something. She's like, "Derek, I'll take your phone with me." I was like, okay, how am I just got into a relationship? So I was like, how am I gonna talk to my girlfriend, Mom? She's like, that's true. I would much rather you be talking to her over the phone than in person. No funny business can happen. I was like, Mom, it's 2021. If you don't think I can do funny business over the phone, you don't. And then the next day, I'm talking to my dad, and he looks at me and goes, so Derek, can you tell me what sexting is? Dead ass asked me if I knew what sexting was. I don't know. What do you tell your dad when he asks you that? Hell yeah, Dad. So there's a couple emojis you might need to know about. I said, Dad, do you know what sexting's about? And he goes, of course, just want to make sure you did too. But no, also, one time my mom was having a talk with my brother about condoms. He was just going into college, and he said, well, I'm fine if I just use condoms. My mom was like, well, actually, if you look over at your brother, he's proof that condoms don't always work. What the fuck, Mom? But actually, I did the math. My dad's birthday's in July. I was supposed to be born in March, so I guess my dad didn't get a birthday present that year. My mom might have forgot something. But, so I'm 19. I'm 19, actually. And like a lot of 19-year-old boys, I'm on Tinder. Is anybody here on Tinder? Anybody here on Tinder? Couldn't even fake it for me? Anybody? Yeah, me too. I don't give a shit. But so, I've had a lot of interesting things happen to me on Tinder. The first time, actually, I got a message from this girl. She said, oh my God, you're so hot. You look just like Jeffrey Dahmer. I was like, okay, ma'am? What do you mean I look just like Jeffrey Dahmer? She's like, don't you see it? You're tall, the way you dress, those glasses you wear. And so, I was like, I think we need to have a conversation. What do you, why do you think Jeffrey Dahmer's hot? I was like, I know he eats people, but I don't think you need it that bad. I actually have a slight problem. So I talk to my friends very differently than I would talk to a girl I'm just meeting. So like when I talk to my friends, they're like saying something sad that happened or bad that happens, and my response is, oh my God, that's hot. Just as like a joke. And so this girl was info dumping me the first time we're talking, like, oh my God, so my dad left me when I was a kid, and I just haven't really been the same. And I was like, oh, that's hot. And she's like, what the fuck do you mean that's hot? And I was like, I realized in that moment that you can both no more insult a girl and turn her on more than when you insult her daddy issues. She loves and hates that. If you just ground her afterwards, she'll be real happy. But also on Tinder, I do this thing where like if a girl has like obviously opposing values to me, like has a Trump flag or Confederate flag, I purposely swipe right. Because that's an interesting conversation starter. I matched with this girl, oddly. It never works, but I did this one time. And this girl matched, and she was like, hey, and like, she goes, I see you're a liberal. It's like, well, it's actually more convoluted than that. I believe in leftist views. And she's like, I don't care, but we can definitely change it. I was gonna unmatch with her, and I kind of ignored it, but then she just like responded again and goes, well, yeah, do you want to have any kids or anything? I'm 18. At the time of that conversation, I was 18, and I was like, oh, I don't really first off know if I'm ready to be a father or anything. Like, I was like, so yeah, I'm probably not looking for kids. And she's like, oh, we can change that too. I said, okay, I'll make you a deal. I'll make you a deal. We can have one kid after about 4 abortions. And she quickly unmatched with me. Don't know why. I'm just art of the deal, guys. She should understand that. So the last... So actually, the last like kind of interesting interaction I had. So I have this picture of me doing comedy that someone took, and I have it posted. And this girl matched me, and all she said was, "Sing me a song." And I said, "I don't sing," and she hasn't responded yet. And so I was like, okay, do I like kind of explain to her like I don't sing, but the reason that picture exists, like I do stand up. I think I'm pretty good at it, or should I just wait, let it simmer some? And until she finally goes, "Well, what do you do?" And I just go, "I eat people." But so like I said previously, I'm 19, and I realized being 19, like growing up in this time and place, it's not cool to be into cults. Like societally speaking, I can't just be like on the first date, but like, so there's this Ripper cult in Chicago, there was, and what they decided to do was take barbed wire and cut girls' chest off and eat it. Like, that's not a cool first date thing. But girls can be like, "Oh my God, I'm just like, Ted Bundy is so hot." Do they not realize what happened to the last group of people that thought Ted Bundy was hot? They fucking died. But no, yeah, I am into cults. That wasn't a joke, guys. You want the temple? You want Jim Jones? We're going with Jim Jones, actually. No suggestions from the audience. This is not a feedback type of thing. But so, Jim Jones, if you don't know, is honestly one of the worst people to ever exist. He formed this cult and church thing in Northern California and decided, let's make this shit hotter, and took it down to a South American country. And there he formed a place called Jonestown. And at Jonestown, there was like 1,000-esque people. And one day, he got a hair up his ass and decided to make something called Flavor Aid. Now, if I was from Jonestown, if I was in Jonestown, and they were like, "So we have Flavor Aid in the courtyard for everybody today," I'd instantly be concerned. Because he's supposed to be the mouth of God, and he can't afford fucking Kool-Aid for me. And that would have been my problem, right? But so he then proceeded to go and make 900 people drink Kool-Aid after killing a member of the U.S. House of Representatives. And so I was interested. At the beginning of this joke, I said, I'm interested in cults. And so one day, online, I looked up like top 10 worst cults in American history, world history, whatever. And on the list, it got to number 6, and it said Jonestown. Number 6. What the fuck am I missing right now? I could say number 2, maybe. Like, I don't know. There's got to be worse ones out there that I haven't heard out. But then number 5 came along. I was like, what the fuck? How is this number 6? I'm blanking on the name of the cult. It's the people that like protest American soldiers and think they're okay, like when they're dead. Thank you, Westboro. Yeah, and I was like, how the fuck are they number 5? As far as I know, they've never killed anyone, let alone 900 people. Number 5. You know that hurts Jones's ego, right? So there's no way you don't have an ego at that point of, naming a town after yourself. Who does that? Like, no president wouldn't. George Washington wouldn't name a town after himself. But so, actually, I realized something, though, when I was going through all this stuff. Nothing really bad happens to you until someone makes a documentary about you. Right? Like, R. Kelly was doing his shit for a decade, and then they make that documentary out where No More Ignition remix on the radio. And then, like, Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson is a great example because Michael Jackson was maybe one of the biggest things in music, pop history. And then they go and they make that documentary Finding Neverland, and he just, no more Michael Jackson. And I was actually having a conversation with my mom one day around Halloween. I was like, hey, Mom, let's play Thriller. And she's like, you can't play Thriller. I was like, why not, Mom? You still go to Mass on Sundays, and that seems pretty okay. But so I was also born and raised Catholic, and being Catholic, like this is a big, like there's a lot of big events when you're growing up Catholic, like your first communion. And I remember my first communion actually pretty well. I remember I woke up, I got in my outfit, I went to church, I was sitting in the pews, communion got called, I went up there, the priest put something salty in my mouth. But I hear that happens to lots of Catholic boys nowadays, so I guess I shouldn't be too concerned. My whole family's Catholic, actually. My mom's Catholic, my sister's Catholic, my dad's Catholic, my aunt's Catholic, my uncle's Catholic, my grandmother's Catholic. My brother drinks a lot, so it's all the same thing. No, I'm actually going a lot quicker than I should be, so I'm treating you all like I do my ex-girlfriends. To be fair, I didn't give him the intimacy. I at least gave that to you. Because I realized doing stand-up comedy, you have to like expose yourself. Not in the Louis C.K. way. In the I don't have a therapist way, so you guys have to deal with it. Also, anybody else realize when reading the Bible that Joseph is really just God's cuck? And is he not? Is he not? Because you have to feel bad for him too, right? Because like he's chilling in town one day, just like Mary's pregnant, I'm the carpenter, I am the shit of this town. And then he walks into the house and Mary goes, Joe, I'm gonna need you to sit down. Okay, Mary, I'll sit down for you. What's up? What's wrong? I'm pregnant, as we covered previously. Yeah, of course, I'm real excited. It's not your kid. What the fuck do you mean? It's not my kid. He's already grabbing stones for later. And she goes, well, no, calm down. It's God's son, and his name's Jesus. And he had to be pissed. Because, the Jews don't believe in Jesus. So, is it okay for me to say Jews? Okay, as long as, who said that? Well, on that note, I'm just going to go ahead and... Kidding, I haven't got to the transgender stuff. That's what gets you on Netflix. Hell yeah. Does anyone realize once something's stuck with your name, it's really hard to get whatever stuck with your name away from your name? So like, we still call Jared from Subway, Jared from Subway. Does anyone here know what Jared from Subway did? Yeah. Do you all still call him from Jared from Subway? Okay. Does anyone here know what Pee Wee Herman did? And I didn't even have to say what he fucking did, and all of you knew. But we don't call Pee Wee Herman the movie guy. We say, oh look, it's Pee Wee Herman, the dude who jacked off in a porn theater. Which one of those is more socially acceptable? What Jared did, or what Pee Wee did? Oh wow, real pro child porn here? Like really? No one's gonna point that out? I mean, there's an argument to be made. Jared just had been eating so many sandwiches, he didn't know what to do with all his lost weight. Like, what are you, the Subway PR team in here? Is this... Fucking losers. But no, yeah, so what do you think, like, if I Like, I'm Derek from Time Warp currently. That's where I work. That's where I work. Like, if some random person saw me that had saw me in the store, they'd be like, that's Derek from Time Warp. But if the FBI busted into my house, got on my laptop, and found child porn, I would no longer be Derek from Time Warp. I'd very quickly become Derek from Subway. But so, I work at Time Warp, and it's like a card shop. This guy came in one day. Actually, this is dedicated to you, Earl. This joke is dedicated to you. It's about O.J. Simpson. So this guy comes in, and he's like, he yells at me. He's like, hey man, you got any O.J. cards? I mean, I explained to him like how our cards are arranged. Like, here's the football one. If we have any O.J. cards, they'll be in there. And he was like, okay. He has 2 little girls with him. This is important to the rest of the story. He then proceeds to go, hey man, can you get these 2 OJ cards for me? Turns to his daughter. This is 15 minutes later. He looked for 15 minutes for OJ cards. Police spent less time looking for evidence on OJ. He turns to his 2 daughters and he goes, isn't your mom gonna love this? They go with my collection. There's only 2 things OJ base you should be collecting. Blood samples and gloves. And neither ended up going good for the people. It went good for OJ. Till he fucked that right up for himself. I have another joke, but I want to go on a little OJ rant real quick. Yeah. How do you fumble the ball so... Not sports-wise. I know he played football, but like, they really fumbled the ball against OJ. And then he fumbled it on himself. They said, you did nothing wrong, we guess. You can go on your merry way. And then he decided to pick up a gun and hold a hotel room hostage of his shit. Didn't get away with that one, guys. Lightning doesn't strike twice, OJ. But your knife did on 2 different people. They're dead. They died in the 90s. What if I was like, oh, JFK, you guys gonna all for that? Like, that'd be a real mind-blowing experience for everybody, right? Happy. That pun made me happy. This has gone off the rails. Still enjoyable for everyone, though? Everyone? It's the shirt, right? It's the shirt. If I came up here with a suit and tie, you guys would think I'm about to, like, divorce my ex-wife during rehab. Yes. Then I would get a girl pregnant. And then I would break up with her, too. So, as I spoke previously, I work at the mall, and I work. There's a kiosk that I work at in front of GameStop, and how many of you guys have read To Kill a Mockingbird? Okay, this is actually. Can anyone tell me the lead person in To Kill a Mockingbird? What? Yes. Thank you. That had nothing to do. I just wanted to see if you guys paid attention in class. Teacher's pet, guys. Mom, are you proud of me? That was a teacher interaction. Yes. But so, does anybody remember the antagonist of To Kill a Mockingbird? Other than like the racial justice system in America. So, I don't even know how to respond to that, so I'm just going to move on. So, for anybody that doesn't remember, the antagonist of To Kill a Mockingbird is this family that's just pure incest and pure racism. And I met that family at the mall one day. I'm just sitting there, sorting cards, and like one of them walks up. I'm like, that dude's eyes shouldn't be facing two different directions. And then four more people and a little girl walk up. And the little girl gets in the play area. Two of these people are like all over each other kissing. I'm like, oh, this is a weird ass, whatever. Maybe that's their daughter. I inferred it was their daughter because the rest were just men. And she's playing around, and then she starts to cry that she wants a soda. And it's kind of quiet, and I just hear the grandpa lean a cup towards somebody and goes, we can give her some of my wine, right? No, you can't. You can't give this 6-year-old girl wine in a public place. I barely let Earl have alcohol in a public place. But so, you think that's it. It's not it. Because they stay there for 50 more minutes. The lights are being turned out in parts of the mall and stores are closing. And they're still there. And it didn't hit me until two of them walked away. The man that was kissing on the girl. And they finally decide to get this little girl her fucking soda 50 minutes later. And he goes, hey, go get money from your brother to the girl. And she walks over, and I'm like, go for the right one, please. Please pick the right one. She doesn't pick the right one. The one she was just previously making out with 50 minutes ago, she gets the money from. I wasn't joking when I said incest family. This was a real thing that happened. And I was like, this is questionable at best already, right? And then the old man decides very loudly in a very public place to say the N-word with a hard R. And I had to make a split-second decision right there to yell at them for being crazy motherfuckers or to wait until, let's say, I'm in a room full of people being recorded, look down the camera, and say, kindly, go fuck yourself. But no. So as I work in the mall, and so one day I went to use the restroom in the mall restroom, and I went in there. There was a bunch of noise being made in this one stall, the only other person in there. I was just trying to use the restroom, so a ruckus. And I go to wash my hands. This kid falls out of the stall, pants around his ankles, looks at me, and goes, please don't tell my mom. And that's all, guys. Thank you for coming out tonight.